so good to see all of you and some of your parents and all your teachers and our guests. My name is Tulip Titus, and I'd like to welcome each one of you to our 25th annual Literacy Celebration. First, I have the honor to introduce to you Casey Rizlov, a children's author from Casper, and Zach Pullen, an equally famous illustrator from Casper. They would like to say a few words to you about the importance of reading. With them today is Rowdy Randy, a character from their latest book. Let's welcome Casey, Zach, and Rowdy Randy.
How's everybody doing today? Good. Welcome to the 25th year. It's pretty amazing. I've actually had a part in this for quite a while as an illustrator. When I was your age, my favorite thing to do was to go to the library and look at books and sit in the aisles and just pore over all the books that I couldn't read necessarily, but I loved the pictures, which led perfectly to my career because I get to draw and paint for a living, which is really cool. And that was only something that I could dream of when I was your age. So now, I do it all the time. I do books all the time, and I get to work with awesome people like Casey, who writes great stories, and I get to bring her words to life through pictures and through characters like this one over here. So, if I wouldn't have spent that time in the library and looked at books and been inspired by books and read books, I wouldn't be where I am today. So I'm here to tell you to read, to look, and be inspired by what you see, okay? And then Casey tells you how important it is to read too. So, there you go.
Yeah, as you guys heard, reading's pretty important. Brings up creativity, gives you lots of knowledge in different ways. As you can see, characters can come alive in your head, right? And I know you guys are reading every day because your teachers are helping you with that. Are you guys going to read every day this summer? Yeah! Ooh, that was long. Yeah. All right, good job, you guys. We're proud of you because we want you guys to stay bit by the reading bug. Good job, you guys.
All right.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Casey. Thank you, Zach, and thank you, Rowdy Randy. Boys and girls, this exciting day today was made possible by a very special man. He took something sad that happened to his family and he turned it into something wonderful for many, many children, including you, over the last 25 years. I'm honored to get to introduce his family. Today, John's blessed to have all of his children and grandchildren here to celebrate with you. I've known most of his children since they were in first grade, and they all love to read just like you. Sarah and her husband Brian are here from Denver with their children Grant, who's 8, Lydia, 6, and June, who's 3. Lindsay, whose husband Rob could not be with us today, is here with their children, also from Denver. Grady, 12, Miriam, 9, and Audrey, 6. Marty and Hannah are here from Durham, North Carolina. Their son Jack will be 2 in June. Matt and Kayla and their daughter, 19-month-old Alberta, also known as Birdie, are here from New Brighton, Minnesota. Finally, here's Christian, the youngest, who's here with his friend Sarah Hoffner. Please welcome Mr. John Jorgensen.
Thank you, Mrs. Titus. As Mrs. Titus said, this all started because of something very sad that happened to our family. Many, many years ago, my wife and the mother of my children died in an automobile accident. But long before that, she was a first grader just like you. And she grew up to be this lovely, lovely woman. When we lost her, of course, we were all very sad. But I didn't want our family to just be sad. I wanted our family to remember some of the things that were important about her, some of the things she cared most about. And two of those things were books and children. And so it was an easy idea to come up with what has now become Wyoming Reads. But we knew that just telling you that would not mean much to a group of first graders. So we thought we need to add a little bit of a story about her to help you remember her as you go out into the world after today. And the story goes a little bit like this, and listen carefully because you get to help tell part of the story. The story goes like this. Once upon a time, long ago and far, far away, there lived a very good and a very beautiful queen who ruled over the magical kingdom of books. Now, the good queen loved two things very much. She loved books. Oh my, how she loved books. But more than books, she loved children. And the children of the magical kingdom were exactly like the children of Casper, Wyoming. Now, the good queen taught her subjects many things. She taught them to be kind to one another. She taught them to be gentle with one another. She taught them to share with one another. She even taught them to scrub behind their ears, even if nobody checked there. And when they got to be first graders, she taught them the words to a very special magical spell. Now listen closely, because this is the part that you have to help with later. The magical spell goes like this. Sniggledy sneed, we want to read. Can you say that with me? Sniggledy sneed, we want to read. Perfect. Now remember that. Well, one day, an evil Grinch was roaming through the countryside, and he came upon the queen's castle. And of course, the good queen left the drawbridge down so all the children of the kingdom could come and read whenever they wanted to. And when the Grinch saw that, he knew this was a perfect chance to make some mischief. And that Grinch tiptoed across the drawbridge and into the castle, and he began to roam about. And the first thing he came to was the royal kitchen. And in the royal kitchen, of course, was the royal refrigerator. And he opened it, and inside he found a whole roasted chicken. And he took it out by a drumstick, and he held it up, and he gobbled it down in 3 bites. Then he kept roaming through the castle, and he came upon the good queen, reading in a sunny nook as she loved to do, and he cast an evil spell on her and put her into a deep, deep sleep. And then he kept roaming through the castle, and he noticed the walls of the castle were lined with shelves and shelves of books. But since the Grinch couldn't read and he didn't know what books were, he decided to do what happens all too often in the world of grown-ups when we don't understand something. He decided to destroy them. And he started throwing them in a big pile in the courtyard to burn them all up. Well, luckily, one of the first graders had seen that Grinch sneaking into the castle, and she knew that meant trouble. She went and got all the other first graders she could find, and they rushed to the castle. And when they saw what he was doing, they knew exactly what they had to do, and they formed a big circle around him. And the first time, just one first grader said this magic spell very quietly. Sniggledy sneed, we want to read. And the second time, they all said it. Sniggledy sneed, we want to read. But the third time, you all joined in at the tops of your lungs. Sniggledy sneed, we want to read. And by golly, it worked. That Grinch blinked his eyes twice, shook his head once, looked down and said, now, who would throw books on the ground? And he began to gather them up. And as he did, one of the books came open, and he looked at it, and he realized your magical spell had taught him to read. And he was oh so happy. And then he remembered the good Queen Sue, and he went to where she was sleeping and lifted the magical spell. And instead of being angry, the good queen just laughed and gave that Grinch a book with his name inside the cover, just like the ones you're going to receive in a few minutes. And then she sent that Grinch on his way to teach all the other Grinches of the kingdom how to read. Well, we're here today to remember the good Queen Sue, of course, But more than that, we're here to tell you how much the community of Casper cares about her children. We're here to share with you the magic of reading. Reading really is magic. If you can read, you become a prince or a princess in the magical kingdom of books. If you can read, you can do anything. We want you to be gentle with your new book when you get it, but we want you to read it and read it and read it. We want you to share it with your friends and your family. And tonight, when you're reading your new book in bed and your mom or your dad comes in to tell you it's time for lights out, I'll bet if you whisper in their ear, sniggledy-sneed, I want to read, I bet they'll let you leave the lights on an extra 10 minutes. Thank you so much for sharing part of your day with us. Before we hand out the books, I'm going to ask you to do one thing. Would you promise me that you would read every day this summer? Yes! I would like to hear, I promise to read. I promise to read. I don't know. What do you think, Miriam? Did that sound like a promise? Nah, I think we can do better than that. That sounded like a promise, and I hope you meant it, because next fall, I'm going to go to the second grade teachers, and I'm going to ask them, did your new second grade students come to school ready to read? Did they read every day this summer? Because they promised me at Wyoming Reads they were going to. I do hope you will read every day this summer. And remember, if we do all read every day, the good Queen Sue will look down on each of us and say, this is a good and wonderful thing. Thank you so much. And now, teachers will get your book.